Hey guys, this is Tomazetta, and I just got first place at my regionals at Boscos in Anchorage, Alaska with Runick Stun. And this is post Banlist. It hurt a little bit, but I still felt that the deck was very strong. And I played against a Yubel player, a Purrely player, a Tenpai player, and then a Chimera player. The Chimera Chimera is so sus, but it's okay. I felt the best matchup was against the Tenpai. This deck has a really good Tenpai matchup and a Yubel matchup, because you're not going to fight into the Yubel, and you're mostly using spells, so the Phantom doesn't really affect you too much. And the hardest matchup was the Purrely. That's the one I lost. I went 3-1. And dude, bro opened up double Cyclone. I just lost. What can I say? And so I got this deck box. I pulled a QCR, a Stellar, which is pretty nice from the opening packs. And obviously we have the Fiendsmith playmat. And without further ado, let's just get it right into the deck profile. So starting with the monsters, we have 3 Amano-Iwato, and that's it for the monsters. Amano-Iwato is still the better one. I don't like Inspector Border really. A, because it's complicated and it takes too long to explain it to a player, because they're going to keep asking what it does, and then that's wasting time. But also, Amano-Iwato is just the GOAT. I had multiple matches where my opponent told me that they had hand traps. They had like a Ghost Ogre and an Ash, and I summoned Amano-Iwato, and they tried to Ash, and I'm like, you can't. And they're like, oh, my bad. So, and this card is really insane with Bagooska, because if you have Bagooska on the field and normal summon Amano-Iwato, Amano-Iwato goes in defense and he can't bounce back, and it only checks for the first bounce, or yeah, he only bounces back on the first normal summon. It doesn't check after. And Amano-Iwato, Bagooska says it negates activated effects. Amano-Iwato's passive skill drain effect isn't obviously inactive. It's way better than skill drain. It's from anywhere, from hand, grave, banish, on field, just nowhere. So basically you have a Amano-Iwato effect of no one can play monster cards or monster effects, and then Bagooska makes everything in defense so they can't beat over Amano. And then Amano just stays for the rest of the game. So it's really insane. Next, we're just going to go into our Runick Spells. So obviously 3 tip. We're going to do 3 destruction. This is my favorite one. We have 3 slumber. This one's the GOAT. We have 3 flashing fire. We have 3 curses, and then we have 1 smiting storm, 1 golden droplet. Golden droplet you can activate at any time in the game, so obviously we want to have one. You always want a Runick card you can just pop off in case you just need that draw off the fountain. And smiting storm just hits like exact numbers, so it's really good for ending the game. Then we just have our 2 copies of fountain and 1 terraforming, so 3 fountain. People like playing 2 fountain. I like the 3rd copy of Fountain just because I always want Fountain in my hand. So if I have a Amano-Iwato, Fountain, and a Runick spell, I can just normal summon Amano, that Fountain, or activate Fountain, activate the spell, draw 1, make Bagooska. So you just get a +1 and a Bagooska on field for free. And then typically you have other spells too, so you can just keep milling them. So it's really good just to have the field spell at all times. For our draw power, we're just going to play 3 Paw Duality. This card's goated. We're gonna play 2 desires. I hate this card, but you have to play it just because you really need that draw power in this deck. Because we're playing a stun deck that isn't super degenerate. We're playing a least degenerate stun deck. So we want to get to our 1 copies of our Floodgates because Konami sucks and they just hit all the Floodgates for no reason. 2 desires. Before regionals, I kept desiring into desires, but at regionals, I never desired into desires. And the concept of desires is you would die before you saw any of the 10 cards that you banished, so it's basically just Pot of Greed. And then we play 1 day apiece. This card, I drew it on the Tenpai player, it was really good. And then I drew it during time, or when it was close to time, I got on the Chimera player, like I was 2,000 life points above, and then I activated 1 day apiece, and then he just couldn't kill me. So it was really good. Card demise. This card I kind of don't like because I do want that special summon Hugin Search Fountain, but honestly you don't really do it in this deck because you just typically just draw into it. And then we're just gonna play 2 Time-Tearing Morganite. I don't play 3 because it gets too bricky, but I don't play 1 because I want to see it, because if you activate Time-Tearing Morganite, you always will have a permanent advantage on your opponent, especially if you have like 2 Amanos in hand. Just a mono normal summon, Bagooska. Or you can make Abyss Dweller, which is another card in my deck. If you get this card off, you win a lot. So that's why I played 2, but you don't want to play 3 because it does get bricky, because after the first use of Time Tearing, it's just a dead card. Okay, here's my favorite part of the profile. We'll play the Floodgates. So we have one grave of the super ancient organism that I accidentally wrote orgasm at the regionals. Tikaboo, there can be only one. This card's insane. You just love seeing it, you just love drawing it, and then sadly only one skill drain. They hit it. I have the QCR. They hit my boy skill drain. People are playing Power Sync Stone. I don't play Power Sync Stone. It's just not good. Just run like Tyrant's Tirade, honestly, at that point. Don't play Power Sync Stone. Just not good. I was coping on it though, so like trust me. And then I'm playing 3 Solemn Strike. You won't see this too much. I saw other profiles and they don't run Solemn Strike. I like Solemn Strike because it negates the summon. So when Tenpai is Synchro 10, where it says you can't activate effects, you can strike it because it's before it even hits the field, so it wasn't ever summoned properly. So that's one reason. This was really good against Yubel when the Yubel made an Omni Negate and then chained the used the Omni Negate to stop one of my cards. I striked it, and then he just lost his Omni Negate. And I also use this sometimes against, I used it against Chimera, so when they would summon the Guardian Chimera and use its effect, I would strike it. Or when they summoned the main Chimera monster that like shuffles, or that sends a card from hand to grave during the end phase, I would just strike it, so they couldn't have the Chimera on field, so they couldn't use the effects in grave. Strike's really good. It's also really good against Ash. And I know I said that was my favorite part, but here's actually my favorite part. It's the 2 Scrub Raid, which is still way better than Secret Zone. And then the 1 Swords of Revealing Light. This is the one you get from the envelope, the world envelope. You know, I had to play it. This was really good though. This is an insane card. When I drew it, I always won because I just play it. No one expects it. And then it's like, I protect it with Hugin. And then I'm just like, they can't attack me for like 3 turns on the 3rd end phase of your opponent's turn. So it's mine, his, that's 1, mine, his, that's 2, mine, his, that's 3. So you're having 3 free turns just to draw. And I mean, you're drawing like crazy because you're just playing Runick. So you're just going to go into another Scrub Raid. So this card just goes into this. It's insane. Scrub Raid's still better because Scrub Raid's not once per turn and it pays cost. You can have an end board and it's just this and Fountain. And then when your opponent tries to battle, you can be like, okay, summon, chain, Scrub Raid, send for cost. So you still get the Runick card effect. It just goes to grave because you're Scrub Raiding it. And then it skips the battle. And there's some tech that I use with Scrub Raid and Evenly. So an example right here is like, my opponent just immediately goes to battle phase. Okay, I know they have Evenly. I use Droplet to summon, Scrub Raid chain, pay cost. And then Droplet's gonna summon. It's gonna summon a Scary effect. I grab this back when he Evenlies. Honestly, you can just either get rid of the Gary or the Scrub Raid, depends on what you want. Or if you have another Floodgate, you just get rid of both and stay on that one Floodgate. So it's really good. So now onto the extra deck. We are playing 3 Hugin, obviously. We all know what Hugin does. Hugin's insane. I'm playing 2 Munin. This was the MVP because this gets you life points, which let me 1 against the Chimera player. But also, if you have skill drain, you summon Hugin, and when they try to Cosmic either one of your set cards or your Runick card, you can pay cost, which is banished, so it dodges the skill drain. Because Hugin doesn't work under skill drain. Just for your FYI, Hugin dies under skill drain, which is why skill drain at 1 isn't the worst thing for this deck, because it just lets me play Hugin more often, which obviously we want to play Hugin more often. Next, we're playing 3 Gary. So Gary's really good because it always gets us our Fountain back. It's protection. It can't be popped by card effect. It can't be destroyed. And when it gets destroyed by battle, it just is going to pop a card on their field, which is really nice to out Floodgates. Sometimes when you're going second and you need a Floodgate popped, you'll literally just straight go to battle, summon Gary and attack, suicide him in, Gary effect, pop the Floodgate. And you can do that multiple times, by the way. It's not once per turn. So just like pop as many cards as you want. You could also use Gary as a way to go into Typhon. And finally, you can use Gary, summon it. And like what I said earlier, you just summon the Amano-Iwato, play your turn. When you're done with everything, because you want Amano on field as long as possible to stop all their hand traps, go into Bagooska. This is pretty insane. A lot of people can't stop it. So just go into Bagooska if you're ever worried. We're playing 1 Frecky, 1 Sleipnir. These really don't come up ever. Like sadly, these don't come up. Sleipnir is pretty good if they're sending up that Yubel Omni. and you want to sleep near it to get the XYZ materials off. But this card just really doesn't work. Like, it works against also like Purrely, but he imprimed mine, so I was like, yikes. Frecky's way better than Sleipnir, obviously. Either of us take battle damage, I banish the top 2 cards, and then I grab a quick play from my grave when it goes to grave. Now for just the XYZs, Bagooska, MVP. Abyss Dweller doesn't really come up. I was thinking about doing this against the Chimera player, but I just realized this is better because he's gonna summon Guardian Chimera. Okay, can't use it. Then we play up Down Nerd and Zeus. Down Nerd to Zeus. Level 4 XYZ. Overlap. Now we have like, what, 1, 2... Yeah, we have 4 materials, so you have double Zeus. Doesn't come up ever. It was just an idea I had. I had deck space. There's probably some other stuff you could run. You could honestly swap out these 2 for anything, but I just kept these in because I was like, what if it happens? It almost happened, and then we're just playing the 1 Typhon. This guy gets his own part because he's just goated. What you can do is you can summon Gary, Typhon it. You can summon Hugin, do your Hugin stuff, Typhon it. It's good. We're not really summoning at all, so I mean, you get something that says anything above 3000 can't use its effects, and a free shuffle. So pretty good. And then you're pairing that up with like Ancient Organism, or Ancient Organism. This is our rank. This isn't a level, so it doesn't matter about Ancient Organism. Your opponent does though. Typically, your opponent can't really play an Ancient Organism like Yubel. Yubel has a hard time, I feel, into it because it's just fusions. So their fusion isn't able to activate their effect. If they have a card on field that activates Spirit Yubel, I feel like it has a hard time against it. They can't attack with them, so I'm just like playing back. I ain't even fighting them. I'm just like, play your own game. It's pretty good. Finally, we're gonna go into the side deck. The side deck has more monsters than the main deck, so we are playing 3 Dogwood. This card's insane. I was debating on whether to play it because I have Munin, but I decided, what if my opponent stalls and then just takes like a million years to do turn, and then it just so happens when he ends turn, I get to play. So, or when he ends turn, that time ends. So, 3 Dogwood. I kind of find any excuse to play her because she's my favorite of the Ghost Girls. I just love her. Cute lolly. We are playing Sphere Mode Raw. Sphere Mode Raw is insane. I don't remember if I saw too many people play it in Runick Stun before I played it, but that could just be a coincidence that I just didn't see it. But I really love this card. I was like, one day I was like, what if I just played Sphere Mode Raw? And I played it and it was really good. And it has a really good synergy with Planetary Morganite. So let's just give us a random hand. Okay, this is 3 cards, so you're not going to be able to do this every time, and you do this going second. But you are drawing a lot, so it's very possible this happens. Normal summon Amano-Iwato. Planetary Morganite. Now I have 2 normal summons. Take everything they have, put on Raw. Put this on it. If they have graveyard effects, Amano's on field, can't use anything. So I mean, you're just forcing them. Like, they have no response. You're violating them, honestly. Next are Floodgates in the side deck. 1 Rivalry, 1 goes in, double Grave. These 2 are not good right now. Like, Yubel doesn't care. Tenpai doesn't care. Snake Eyes does care about both of these because you can do some weird locks on them. I don't know much about as goes in, but they definitely care about the Warlords. But I didn't see any Snake Eye players today, so I just was like, oh, don't need them. And then we have the Grave, 2 more Graves just for the Yubel and Tenpai. Really good. Next, 3 Solemn. It's Solemn. There's not too much to say. I am thinking of swapping these out for Dark Bribe since Prosperity is at 1 now. Prosperity says the person who activates it can't draw, so you couldn't Dark Bribe them. But now that's at 1, Dark Bribe is way better. And Dark Bribe is a mill if you think about it. Hypothetically, it's a mill because they draw a card. But Dark Bribe is way better because it doesn't cost you life points. Lastly, it's 2 Lightning Storm. Lightning Storm for Yubel, because Nightmare Pain is a pain. But also just if Labyrinth or some random rogue stuff, or even if there's another Runick player, maybe, negate the Hugin and then Lightning Storm. Never came up. Honestly, almost all these cards never came up. This didn't come up. This didn't come up. These two didn't come up. These did. These always come up. So this one was good. Good. These came up. This only came up in the last round, and I didn't even get to use it. So out of this side, it was really just these 5 as MVP, but these were just good. So if you want to think about changing the side deck, I probably just hit these 2. Look, I really like these 2, but they just don't come up ever. I always keep trying to use them. They just never work. I just feel like they're bad cards at this point in the game, unless something changes. Like if Cash comes back, then okay, playing them, but they're at 1-ofs and they're not even like useful right now. Okay, and I think that does it for the profile. Amano-Iwato best card. Always run at 3. Never a reason not to run at 3, because if you see it, it's really good. And you can always just make Bagooska with it, so it's insane. It's basically just Bagooska. It's Amano or Bagooska. You get to pick. Or it's both. So, love this card. This deck was made especially against things like Yubel and Tenpai. That's why we have 3 ways of just stopping their attacks. This card's insane, by the way. And that's why we're also running the Ancient Organism, because if it was like a Snake Eyes, like everyone's playing Snake Eyes, we're obviously not playing the Ancient Organisms. We might not even be playing the Swords, because I feel like they have a way to out it. I had to play the Swords, bro. It's from the envelope. Can you blame me? This is my 41 card, Runick Stun. Really good. Post Banlist. You don't need Power Sync Stone. This deck is still good, because Skill Drain really just hurts it, I feel, because Skill Drain just stops Hugin. If you don't know, it does stop Hugin, so... A lot of people try to Hugin under Skill Drain. You can't. It's not how it works. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!